Well, jeepers! You're listening to Smash or Pass.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another review on the JayBee and Milly channel. I am JayBee, and as always I am joined by Milly.
Hi.
And we have Rhianna.
Hello.
So today we are going to be reviewing Scooby Doo Where Are You in Decoy for a Dognapper, which is a very interesting episode, and so to that effect, to give you guys a chance to catch up on what this episode is about, we will give you Rhianna's plot summary.
Okay, so the episode starts well out for a walk at night. So we're on the street at night again.
Wow.
And Scooby-Doo sees a prize poodle kidnapped and races to find the rest of the gang. And of course, they listen to a radio broadcast about so many dog nappings that are happening. So when Mystery Inc. hear about the series of dog nappings, they investigate. But, plot twist, Scooby-Doo is dog-napped. He's mistaken for another dog. How can someone kidnap Scooby-Doo, first of all? So, the gang have to track him to a secret hideout in the middle of a desert. So now we're at a desert at night, where they face a witch doctor and a ghostly Indian on horseback. Will they save Scooby-Doo? Will they get Scooby-Doo back? That's the real question.
I like that. Very good plot summary. So you should be awarded for that. We'll give you 2 Scooby snacks for such a very fantastic plot summary. Now, this is a very entertaining plot, because I feel like when I was watching this for the first time for this review, I had blended 2 episodes together in that I was impressed with it at the start, thinking, oh my gosh, this is about dog nappers. This is scary enough in and of itself. This is where Scooby hadn't gone through the formula of they're always chasing monsters. Maybe sometimes they're just solving mysteries. And I thought that that was what this was going to give us. And then when Geronimo showed up and the Indian witch doctor, I was a bit like, oh, I could have sworn that this was a separate episode. And I was kind of less impressed by the episode to that extent. But again, it kind of just made it more Scooby formula, but I don't know. I kind of think that this episode could have worked just as dog nappers, but I understand why they had to have a monster in there. What's everyone's kind of thought on that? Like, could a Scooby episode work just as a mystery with no monster as such? Although arguably dog nappers could be the monster.
Isn't that... What am I thinking of? Another episode where there are dog nappers and it's almost like a dog show?
I think maybe the Scooby Doo episode is what you're thinking of.
Possibly. I was getting it confused with this episode when we were watching. But ultimately, I think dog nappers in themselves could have been enough of a plot. I think, if anything, trying to introduce an unmasking, like, formulaically didn't make it work as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, as episodes are short enough and dog napping is a plot in itself without then having to go, okay, what can we unmask?
Or almost, I feel like modern Scooby would tie it all together, so it wasn't dog napping story, creepy Indian. It would be dog napping story, maybe a ghost called the Dog Whisperer, or, you know, demon dog, Cerberus type thing.
To me, it almost felt like halfway through the episode, they were like, wait, we don't have our unmasking, and then they just threw some Indian on horseback in.
That's exactly what I was thinking with it. It was like an afterthought. Not like it isn't cool, because I think when we do get like the main kind of Indian, not Geronimo, the guy in the suit, that's one of the like villains that I actually remember the most from this series. So I feel like they didn't do a bad job on it, but it definitely did feel like, oh crap, there's no monster, just someone draw an Indian.
Yeah. So I want to go back right to the start of this episode. I really like the set they start off with, the like backdrop they started off with, you know, where they're walking in like autumn leaves.
Oh yeah.
It almost seemed a bit lighter because a lot of these are based at night.
Ooh, was it not the first time we've seen the daytime in Scooby?
It almost feels that way.
I think it might be.
But it transitions to being dark very quickly.
Almost like a juxtaposition. So they give us friendly stroll, and then obviously something kind of awful happens. Maybe we're robbed of a bit of tension in that. I think it happens behind a bush. so we don't get to see the dog napping. It's just help, help, help! My prize poodle has been dog napped.
I really like that lady with the prize poodle. I love how they drew her. I love how she's voiced. You know, just like to get that epitome of just poshness.
Yeah,
really.
some pomposity.
And it's really cute how Scooby picked the flowers for the other dog. But kind of sad when they walk past them and ignore them.
This is mad though, because I feel like even if Scooby achieved his goal, that wouldn't work out.
Oh god,
particularly well.
we're moving on. You can't make that a topic. No. Okay, so the poodles then dog napped, and we cut to the beach at night.
Oh yeah, we do.
Yeah.
That we
Back
do.
to the beach at night.
Did you know that apparently they, you know where Shaggy is like making the hot dogs and everything? It's basically identical to the one in A Clue for Scooby Doo, and all they did was add Velma into it.
Huh. See, I did think it looked alarmingly similar. I actually thought that maybe what they would have done is flip the character models or flip something, maybe inverted the backgrounds, but
it was very samey.
Then again, though,
but
it's cool because I remember in the interview with Bob Singer when everyone was talking about, you know, delays happening and whatnot, he was kind of the one that piped up and said, hang on, I think the issue here is that there's too many backgrounds, and so if this is what they have to do to get the show out, then I'm all for that. That's pretty cool.
One thing that I will say is it almost feels awkward for Shaggy and Velma at the start, like with Daphne and Fred dancing together and stuff. It almost just seems like Shaggy and Velma shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Definitely, I guess, third and fourth wheeling together.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Okay, so I think at this point Scooby catches up to them and tries to say what's going on, so they go to like the police station.
I think they turn on the radio and apparently dogs are like in danger. Then they go to the police station and there's like a prize Great Dane.
Yeah, they say the champion dog is a Great Dane, and they compare like photos with Scooby, and they realise that they'd be a good decoy. And then something really like cool happens because I think, is it Fred's offering Scooby snacks to be the decoy dog? And Shaggy jumps in and was like, yeah, but who's going to be walking the decoy dog? And that's the first time Shaggy has a Scooby snack, and he's like, oh, they're not so bad.
And I like that.
Me too. It's kind of like, oh my gosh. Because that's what's so cool about this like series in particular, is just seeing what's been carried on for over 50 years. Like, what things they started here that have just worked so well, they've been held on to for that length of time.
I like it, because you wouldn't think it, right? Like, Shaggy, you know he likes to eat, you know he likes his sandwiches, his boigers, but, like, it's a dog treat, right? It's dog food. Who would have thought to give Shaggy the dog food? Maybe people would have thought that was weird, but no, it to this day is one of the more endearing things about Shaggy, that he'll, you know, some of his dog's treats as well. Is really cool. I want to, like, find out who made that decision, because, like, you know, hats off to you. I like a bit of dog food myself, so maybe we'll do that sometime. Well, actually, interestingly enough, I think I have said this on a movie review before. Because of Scooby Doo, as a kid, I did actually have a dog biscuit one time, and that's it.
What I'd say is, surely a dog nap is the most threatening thing we've had so far, because at this stage, everyone's grown to love Scooby. We're like 5 episodes in. So any audience would now be loving Scooby, and just the thought of them being taken away would surely pose more of a threat than the villain in the last episode.
I would agree, because I think everyone understands. Well, here's the thing, we don't really get any motivation. We know that they want to win the dog show, but after winning, are we told that they're going to sell the dogs on? Will the dogs be peacefully returned? Like,
Well,
God forbid, will they be put down? Like, we don't know.
I'd say that was kind of the vibe they gave, right? Because when they worked out Scooby wasn't the champion dog, they were told to get rid of him.
So maybe just abandoning, right?
I thought they were insinuating what you said last time.
Putting them down.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which is awful, because if that is the case, then I want to say that this is the most evil plot we've had, because obviously, right, I love money, right? There's very little that I wouldn't do for money. Like, money's awesome, right? I wouldn't have any, like, if there's a really bad person, I would never do anyone harm or mislead anyone or tell anyone a lie, right? But I would have no trouble, like, kind of elevating myself beyond people to get some money. It's a great thing, right? It literally makes the world go round. I love to smell money. I love to hold money in my hand.
Thanks, Scrooge.
I love it when my bank balance is in the green. Like, it's great. And so I could imagine myself, if I was really desperate, dressing up like a diver to scare people off for more money. I could imagine myself dressing as Miner 49er. But at no point would I ever consider harming animals or dogs or, like, innocent creatures. And so to me, this is the more deplorable villain that we probably are going to get this whole series, if I'm not mistaken. And so I do like it. I like it a lot. I'm actually getting way too excited about this episode, but the more I'm talking about it, the more I'm like, yes. And obviously this is going to take a dramatic turn for me. You're going to get all my emotional range in this episode. But for now, I'm winning. I'm happy.
So they then put their plan into motion. They go for a walk at night, and then there's this little pink dog that likes Scooby.
Again, how's that going to work, Scooby? Think about it.
JayBee! Please stop. Just stop.
It'll be like a Kim Kardashian situation.
Look.
JayBee.
Bella and Shadow, JayBee.
Well, we'll discuss that later.
So the pink dog likes Scooby. And then there's this van that creates a big fog of smoke, and you see they cut Scooby's lead.
So this is actually, if I'm not mistaken, like one of the rare instances we see Scooby Doo on a lead.
Oh yeah, I think you may be right about that. And here's the thing: this actually used to scare me. This clip has ingrained itself in my brain because I was always used to be scared that was going to happen to me. Like my parents always had dogs.
Sorry.
Growing up, no, to me when I was walking a dog, right?
I thought you meant you, like your parents walked you on a lead.
They did actually. They actually used to walk me on a lead, not like a dog lead.
Like reins.
Reins.
Yeah.
And apparently it's because I always used to like charge off and try and look for things and like put things in my mouth. But we'll just... Hey, look, I was on reins because I was made to rule, right? Chilling rein, huh? Bit of a joke for you there. But hey, that's besides the point. Now, I always had dogs growing up. One of them I really loved, which was called Patsy. She was so cute, so cuddly, and she was fantastic. And I was always scared that she was going to get nicked. Then they got, like, when she passed away, loads of, like, awful dogs that I wouldn't have minded that much. But when I was watching this with the other dog, I was like, oh no, I don't want that to happen. So, yes, this kind of choppity chop scene is ingrained in my mind. And I'm not happy. I'm quite sad.
Really cute, JayBee.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
So at this point, Velma, Fred, and Daphne are trying to track Scooby. There's like a radar thing on the top of the mystery machine, and they're trying to track the signal because they've put kind of a chip in the collar that Scooby's now wearing. And they see that Scooby's moving quite fast, so they go to chase after him. But at this stage, there's an error. So the mystery machine's moving along the road, but it's empty.
Oh, yeah. No one driving?
Yeah. There's no one in the front of the mystery machine. And ultimately, they did so well with the animation and everything for the year this came out, but I'm just so observant with stuff like this.
Apparently, and maybe I'll even find this for the description to put it in, there's like a website dedicated to mistakes in the first few seasons of Scooby. I've heard about it. Maybe I'll link it, but it is interesting. Very interesting. Scooby-Dooby-Doo.
Okay, so it's at this stage as well, around this point in the movie, where we just see that random ghost on horseback. You know what I mean? Kind of where they've been like, oh, we're not getting the unmasking. And I can see from JayBee's face he's got something to say.
Okay, I'm not going to make this a massive thing, at least not for Geronimo, right? I thought nothing of this growing up because whatever, right? A very, very offensive Indian stereotype there. And I think it's funny. But if there's a fellow Indian that's offended by this, then I don't blame you. It's not aged particularly well. But it is what it is. Some of the dialogue was what really, like, kind of made me funny, and I can laugh at this. So, when like Fred was like, was it a real Indian? And Shaggy like, of course, did you see the axe it was wielding? And all the kind of references to scalping, and it's like, oh my god. Really? Okay. But again, not a big deal for me. However, again, you can make the argument that with people trying to add some more representation with like the new Velma series, with Velma being an Indian, there's a difference between good representation with what I think they're trying to do versus bad representation, which is just crass stereotypes. However, it is what it is. It's 1969, and it's fun. It is fun.
I think because I think they're trying to represent the stereotypical Native American Indian that like go around in tribes and do all that, because I recently watched a video and they were talking about how a lot of the Native American tribes, they had this kind of story that when they died, their ghost comes back to kind of like protect them.
Oh yeah, they do. I remember there was this book I used to read when I was little called The Indian in the Cupboard, and it reminded me a lot of all that stuff. So yes, no doubts that's what it is. It's the way they just say the Indian as opposed to like a Native American or an ancient Indian or a tribal Indian. It's like, because when I hear Indian, I just think of my grandpa Barty driving a taxi cab going, thank you, come again. Which is, again, a stereotype within and of itself, but I can tell you from personal experience that that is very true for some cases, obviously. But this is cool, and I think it's not often that we get a ghost with an accessory like this, so I think this is the first time we see a phantom like horse, if I'm not mistaken. Which is really interesting, because with them being in the Mystery Machine, it's almost like for once there's a ghost with an equivalent of the Mystery Machine, so if the gang can't just drive away if they do get in trouble. Ooh. Which I appreciate.
So I figured out the supernatural reference for this episode. There's Did you boo me?
No, we'll look into it. I don't think it was a technical error.
There's Scooby Doo, like a book, not Scooby Doo. Well, I mean, yeah, but a supernatural like novel series, and in I believe the second book, I want to say, or was it the first? It may have been the first one. There's like these ghosts that are going around killing people after like a 40-year cycle, and one of them was this Indian, like Native American Indian, that was described very much like Geronimo from this episode, and I don't think it killed anyone. I don't want to say. I think it possibly warned Sam and Dean more than anything else.
I mean, it's cool. Yeah. I'm a bit of a sucker for things that people can see as offensive that isn't kind of like, obviously you have to dig deep to like find the nuance of this. So obviously when the actual Indian doctor comes into it, when they have maracas, to me that's ridiculous, right? Because that isn't accurate, it's just kind of mad and kooky. However, because of the unmasking element, it could literally just be a case that the person masquerading as the Indian doctor doesn't really understand the culture, so they're just like reading into things and just finding whatever suits the vibe. So that's cool. And the design of the Indian doctor is awesome. I want to find a toy of it. It's great.
I mean, it would certainly make one of the Playmobil figures really well.
Oh yes. Oh yes, that would be my chase. I want that now. Why you say this to me?
Okay, so we're now at a stage of the episode where we kind of see how sinister and the risk is and things like that, in that they're told to let Scooby go. So they put them in this box and just throw them on a train line, don't they? And they nearly get hit by a train, so you can kind of see what the outcome is for the dogs.
Which is awful, right?
If there wasn't the intervention by Mr. Ink.
And they didn't need this. They could have almost had like a Cruella type of villain.
I'm gonna say surely for like, you know how sometimes when things get lost there's a reward? You'd think for prize dogs they could just give them back. They didn't Because if it's, you know, normally there's a financial
Yeah.
motivation in Scooby-Doo.
They could have swooped in to save the day like Syndrome.
Like, they didn't need to just put him on the track, push him down, and let a train come at him. But of course, Shaggy rescues him. Like, buddy ever not.
I think if like they tried to offer Scooby to Warner Bros would be too lazy to make an offer anyway. So it's good that the gang saved them.
Okay, so getting some more iconic moments in here. Velma's "Where's my glasses" thing. The glasses are taken by a bat, which I actually found quite amusing because it kind of made me think about JayBee and I often go to zoos together and stuff. There was one where you actually walk through a bat cave and bats are flying right above your head, and JayBee hadn't realised that that's what I meant when I said, "Do you want to go in the bat cave?"
But it was freaky because literally not 2 weeks before they announced all like the things going on with the C word when that was happening for the first time, we'd gone into that bat cave for the first time.
Yeah.
So I was panicked.
They closed that bat cave off all throughout.
Yeah.
The
They
thing,
did.
yeah.
They did.
Anyway, there's also now another little technical error. There's a stripe missing from Daphne's dress.
I took it.
Yes.
Actually, we can't say that because I'm sure there's a stripe missing on our Daphne's dress.
There is.
So look at that, a reference.
Hey, we did
well.
that to reference this episode.
Yeah, we did, didn't we?
Okay, so then Daphne finds the hidden something.
The hidden lost city of gold. No, I think Daphne finds one of the Daphne finds Scooby, I think, who has released the dogs at that point.
Yes, so no,
Yeah.
Daphne finds like a hidden room thing, and then she gets kidnapped, tied up with the dogs.
Oh, because
Then
she sits on that
Scooby-
seat, doesn't she? That
Yeah.
goes down.
Then Scooby comes in to kind of rescue Daphne and rescue the other dogs, and then you get your unmaskings.
Maybe Indians just have a thing for Daphne. Who knows? Although, what I think is kind of cool about this, and again, I'm not going to dwell on this, but I think this is the first time in the Where Are You series, and I guess Scooby in general, that we see Daphne actually tied up, which I used to love as a kid. But I prefer the gag as well.
Oh, for goodness sake.
I did like that as a kid, actually.
Okay, so the unmaskings.
Oh, fun fact. This is like the first time when the villain is exposed that they like fully reprimand like the Scooby Gang for their meddling. And I think he like curses them. Curse you meddling kids or something like that.
Oh, I didn't make a note of that. I'm sure that it's just because I was just expecting it, but that's cool. I like that a lot. I like that. Thank you. And you know what else I like? I like that the dogs teamed up to trap the Indian doctor.
Yeah.
The villain is cultural appropriation. Just kidding. It's some geezer. And, oh, okay. One of my top moments of Scooby ever, right? Like Rhianna says about being like reprimanded, I think the villain's like, oh, you should have just like mind your own business, and Fred's like, oh well, you know, dog napping is our business because Scooby's a dog and we love him, and I'm like, oh, I love it, please.
It's like we also see, because I believe Fred allows Scooby to unmask the villain instead of it usually being Fred.
I like it. This is definitely, again, I don't think some of it hasn't aged brilliantly. However, I will maybe give a bit of a spoiler and say that this has probably been like the episode that I've enjoyed rewatching the most.
So, JayBee, does that mean it's a smash from you?
You know what? I'm just gonna keep it short and sweet because I've made no secret of it. To me, this is a smash. I love this episode a lot, and I can laugh at some parts, I can cry at some parts. It's just all around a cool episode, and again, Daphne is great. So I'm gonna smash it. Milly, would you smash or pass Scooby-Doo Where Are You in Decoy for a Dognapper?
I'd agree with you, quite short and sweet. It's a definite smash. It was a good plot. There was a good level of threat to kind of make it engaging, and almost, you know, when you start to feel your heartbeat a little quicker?
Oh yeah.
Like, I feel like you felt more engaged with this episode because you love Scooby, you care about Scooby. and it's him that's got the threat. It's not a character that's just been introduced, has been kidnapped. It's almost like they're directly coming for Scooby.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And so I find it one of the most engaging, and in fact perhaps one of my favourite episodes of this series in general. So definite smash. And Rhianna, what about you? Would you say smash or pass for Decoy for a Dognapper?
Okay, so I will also keep it as short and sweet as possible. Mine is definitely a smash because I really enjoy this episode. There's so much that goes into it. I feel like this is the first episode that they play real detectives and offer their services to someone else. Like, even if it does turn out like be the culprit and everything, they, offered to help. And it was the first time really that it's not them being like, oh, there's a mystery. It was them being like, okay, well, we'll investigate this for you. So it made them seem like I feel like this was the start of Mystery Inc. as a whole, as being professionals and being taken seriously. I also love the fact because there's snippets of this episode in the opening sequence of Scooby Doo WrestleMania Mystery and WWE and merging the two together. And this is one of my favorite episodes, and I love talking about it. And it was just really fun, and I felt there was definitely a good amount of threat to it that made me on edge, and I get genuine anxiety because of this episode when it comes to walking my dogs. It's like I don't want to take them out just in case.
Like you say, this could be the start of like Mystery Inc. as we know it, though, because this is the most high-profile case that they've dealt with. Like, obviously, the Black Knight could have been high-profile because it's an actual museum display, but this is the only one that we know has had like media coverage, right, in the form of radio. Like, if the dog's disappearing was radio news, then you can only imagine that the dogs being saved would also be radio news. Maybe the gang were interviewed on the radio. Definitely they were named, if not this. Oh, and of course the dogs were saved by some kooky kids and their dog. Like, you know what I mean? That definitely got coverage. So you're right, this could very well be the origins of Mystery Inc. being a legitimate detective there. I enjoy it. So,
Guess that does it for this episode. So join us again on Friday where we will be reviewing
What the Hex is Going On? Which is interesting. We're doing really well with these so far. And I'm going to say this. I think that this has been the best episode that we've done for reviewing this. Because I think it was a good episode that had a lot to discuss. And that's what I think is important. I think the better the episode is, even if we don't like it, even if we do like it, the review is going to be better as well because we can talk about more like critically. I like it a lot. I think this has been my favorite time reviewing this as well, so I'm excited, definitely excited. So you can find all of Rhianna's social links in the description down below. You can find our link tree down below, and please make sure to keep subscribed because we will be reviewing this whole series. We're also going to be giving you guys some awesome interviews going out. Great things coming up. You don't want to miss it. It's good. It's great for any Scooby fan or even any movie fan in general that just likes hearing from actors and the creators, and it's brilliant. So please like, comment and subscribe. JayBee and Milly.